key and value pairs, and in this dictionary we have 3 elements. The first element has key 7, value 234. The second element has key 44 with a string as value, and the third element has the key -2 and the value is 34.54. So we have in this dictionary 3 elements. How do we access or how do we get the elements individually? We use indexing by key. If I just say print, for example, D with index 7, I will get the first element, the value of the first element, 234. Okay, this will print 234. Okay. Or if I just say print, let's get this, use the same thing, but with -2, we will be printing the last element, the value of the last element, or the value of the element which has key equal to -2. Okay, and we can also have the keys can be either integer, float, or string. We can have also float and string keys. Let's use here for example, colon, and the value 4444. And let's change the last one from -2 to -2.17. Now, if I just print, for example, element with key 4, what I will have, my key is just a string which contains FOUR. Let's do this and let's see the result. So here I have a dictionary which has now 4 elements. The key of the first element is 7. The key of the second element is 44. The key of the third element is FOUR, a string, and the key of the last element is -2.17. Of course, normally we don't create dictionaries which has a mixed type of keys. We usually have all keys integer, or all keys strings, or all keys doubles, etc. But it is possible in Python to create a dictionary which has a mixture of different data types in keys. How do we iterate over these? If I just build a for loop for let's say x in D, and let's print x, and we will see what it is. It gets. If I do this and if I run this, we will see that it will only print 744 and 2.17. So if I build a for loop which has the dictionary after the in keyword, only the keys are taken and used. Here x is those. Let's print here, let's say 20 times minus, so it will, we will get a little bit separation from the previous part. So here we are printing the keys. If I want to print the values as well, what will I have to do? So I will use indexing by key. So the dictionary name is D, and as index, what I use? The key. And since the variable here will get the keys in the for loop, I generally use K to remind me that it is a key. Let's put here K and K here. Now I will be printing all the key and value pairs. The keys, this loop will get the first key, the second key, the third key, the fourth key, etc. And here I'm printing the key and the value corresponding to this element. So the indexing by key gives me the value of the related element. Okay. This is one way of building for loops to travel the dictionaries. How do I build dictionaries? Either by using a curly brace, key value, key colon value, comma, second key, colon, second value, comma, etc. as we did here. Okay, this is one way of building a dictionary. And if I want to build a dictionary, an empty dictionary, if I want to create an empty dictionary, then I will just use only curly braces. Only curly braces creates an empty dictionary, or I can use the dict function. So if I just use a dict function without anything as parameter, then it will create an empty dictionary. Now, I want to add something to this dictionary. Let's take this. How do I add it? I just use an assignment to an indexed dictionary element. If let's put here, for example, 10, and the value is, let's say, something, okay, anything. And let's use this again once more. And we will see that it will add this element as well. Okay, now we have this element. If I have such an assignment statement, which has on the left-hand side an indexing of the dictionary, and if this key 10, here I used the key 10. Does 10 exist as a key in the dictionary? No. So what happens? It adds a new element. Now I will do something else. I will just, instead of this, I will just say, for example, D as key 44. I have an element which has 44, okay? Then what and then I do equal something else, minus 1, 2, 3, 4. What will happen? Now I have a similar assignment. On this one, I have an index, which will be key in the dictionary, which is not, which doesn't exist in the dictionary. In this case, it creates a new element with key equal to 10 and value equal to 487. But 44 exists as key. Okay, there is one element which has 44 as key. So in that case, what happens? It replaces the value with the new value. So we can use the same syntax, the indexing, the assignment by indexing to a dictionary, to either add new element or to modify a new element. If the key doesn't exist, it adds new element. If the key exists, it modifies the element. Let's print the dictionary again. Here, we will see that this element now is modified. Key 44 value rf is now modified to this value. Okay, so this element is modified. Here with 10 and 487, 10 didn't exist in the dictionary first at this time. Therefore, it is added. But now I have a similar statement, an assignment by indexing. But in this case, the key value in the index exists in the dictionary. Therefore, its value is modified. Its value was rf. Now it is minus 1234. This is quite important. This has to be known thoroughly, because when you create dictionaries, you have to use this feature, okay? You will use this feature. Any questions so far? Before continuing further, let's see the functions. There are several functions. Of course, the len function, like in strings and lists and tuples, etc., gives us the number of elements in a dictionary. How many elements are there here now? There are 5 elements. So when I just print len of D, I'll get 5. Or let's put here number of elements. Let's write this as well. Then we will see that it will print 5. Number of elements is equal to 5. There are 5 elements in the dictionary. Second, if we use max function with a dictionary, if the parameter of a max function is a dictionary, we get the maximum key, not the maximum value. Attention, we do not get the maximum value, we get the maximum key. If all keys are numeric or all keys are string. If some of the keys are numeric and some of the keys are string, the max t will give an error. So maxd will only work if all keys are numeric or all keys are string. Similarly, min function, which gets a dictionary as parameter, gives us the minimum key in the dictionary, again, if all keys are numeric or all keys are string. Similarly, sum will give us the sum of the keys if all keys are numeric. If there's any string key, then we will get an error. Sorted gives us something which contains only the keys, but in sorted order. Now let's do this. Here now we have one element here, 4. Let's change it to something else. Okay. Because I want to use the sorted method here. Let's say instead of 4, let's put here 2. Okay. Now let's use the sorted. D2 is equal to sorted D, and let's print D2, and let's see what we will get. Of course, this doesn't exist. Let's remove this. Okay. Here we see that the keys are sorted. I have now something which only contains the keys, but the keys are in sorted order. The smallest key, -2 something, then 2, 7, 10, 44. We only get a list which contains only the keys, but in a sorted order. What can I do with this? I want to print the keys and values, but I want to print the dictionary so that the keys are in ascending order. So what I can do, since this sorted gives me list of keys for, let's say, K in sorted the dictionary, what I'm using here I'm using sorted D, which gives me a list of keys in sorted order. So these keys, these values in the list are the keys of the dictionary, of the D dictionary. So what I do, I can do print the key, comma, let's say, let's let something like this, and then the D with index key. If K is a key in the dictionary, in order to get its value or the value of the related element with this key, I will use this. DK will give me the value. Let's run it and let's see. Here it is. Now -2 for 34.4. Here -2 has 34.54. 2 has blah blah blah, 4444, 7 has 234, etc. So we have now printed the elements of the dictionary D in the ascending order of by key. What we did, we used for key in sorted D. Sorted D gives me a list which only contains the keys, but these keys are, of course, the keys of the D dictionary. Therefore, I can use this D index key to get the value of the related elements. What I will be doing, I will just remove some of the things that we are doing here. And don't print here. Okay. Now, what else can we tell? Now, let's continue with methods. If I just only want to get the keys in the original order as they appear in the dictionary, I can use d.keys, the dictionary name .keys. Here I use d as the dictionary, but it can be anything else. Okay. just for typing more quickly, I just use a single character dictionary name. Of course, normally when you write a program, you will just use here a meaningful variable name, something which will remind you the thing that is contained in the dictionary. So let's use this. If I just print d.keys, I will only get something which only contains the keys. Here it is. As you see, I get dict keys something, okay? This is not a list. This is not a tuple. It's something else. This is an iterable item. This is an iterable item, but it only gets the keys. Similarly, we have a values method. Instead of keys, if you just use values, you get a iterable item which only contains the values. Okay, here are the values in the dictionary. The first value let's see, here it is. Here, or before, let's remove this for the time being. I don't want to print the elements sorted. For the time being, let's remove this. Okay. And let's put this here. So here we have our dictionary, which has 7, 44, 2, -2, something, and 10 as keys. The keys will only get these values, the keys, and the values method d.values, or the dictionary name .values method call, will give us an iterable item which only contain the values 2, 3, 4, -1, 2, 3, 4, blah 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 blah. Okay, in the same order as they exist in the dictionary. Now I will go back to this notation. If I want to get the keys and values, what I do, I use a for loop with a variable here, and after in I have my dictionary name, and then k will be the variable that is used in the for loop, will be the keys, and in order to get the values, I use indexing by key. This is the key, and this is the value. Now we have another method, which is, I will jump these things and then I will continue with this one, d.items, which makes getting the keys and values easier than this one. This is one way of getting those things. Let's print this here again. And now I can build another for loop for k, v in d.items. D.items doesn't give a single dimensional iterable. It gives me both the keys and values. That's why here after for, before in, I have two variables. I just use k and v just to more easily remember that the first one is the key and the second one is the value, but you can have anything, a, b, or whatever. If I just do this, and if I print k and v, I will get something very exactly as this one here. So this output is exactly the same as this one. So this loop and that loop perform the same thing. However, here I don't need to do indexing by key. I directly get the value itself. Okay. Now by using either this one or that one, let's do some changes. Since here all the values are also numeric, what I can do, assume that I want to write a program, some Python statements, which increases every value by, let's say, 100. Okay. So what I can do, I can use it either this notation, let's say this one, for k in d. So what I will be doing, I will say dk, which is the value of the element which has the key as the k as key, plus equal 100. what I'm doing now, I'm increasing the values, okay? I'm increasing every value in the dictionary. Now let's print either like this or that, like that. Both are same, okay? Since these two are exactly have same functionality, I'll be using, let's say, this one. And let's print here this again. Now, it was 234, it became 334. Minus 1,200 plus 100 minus 100, 100. Instead of minus 200 minus 100. 4,400, 4,500. So 34, 134. So I increased every value by 10 using this kind of loop. Okay. So if you want to do some changes in the values in the dictionary, you can use something like this. Or you can do the same thing in a different way. How can I do the same thing, exactly the same thing, using this type of loop? Let's do it. Let's copy this one. Let's increase. We can just say that dk, which is the value. Here I already got the value v. What I can do, equal v plus, for example, 100. I can either do here dk equal dk plus 100 or dk equal v plus 100. This is the same thing with this one, okay? And let's print these again. We will see that the values will again increase by 100 once more. Now we have, instead of 334, 434, instead of 500, we have 600, etc. So we can change the values either this, like this, since we have here the value variable, the value part of the key of the element, change it or add it to 100 to it, or something like that. What's next? Let's go and look. Okay, copy. If you want to create an exact copy of the dictionary, okay, then you use the copy. Otherwise, if I just say here, for example, if I just say in my program E equal D, and let's print E. If I just assign a dictionary to a new variable, I will not create a new dictionary. It will be one and same dictionary with two names. Both the D name and the E name will just refer to the same dictionary. Let's do this. But let's assume that, let's take these things, for example, modify the, I will just put this before, sorry, after this. Now I will print the E, not D, but E, okay? Now let's go back and let's print before this, what I was doing. Forget about these things. Just before this, print D and print D, print E and print D. I'll just print D again, print D and print E. It will be, both are same. And now here, this is D and this is E. After assigning to E, I modified, I printed D, and I modified the D dictionary. Okay, the D dictionary is modified. So what will happen? It will get this. But after that, let's print. But maybe it's better like this. I modified the dictionary D on these two lines, line 24 and line 25. The dictionary D is modified, and I'm printing E, and I will also print D once more. So we are printing D and E again once more, and we will see that they are identical dictionaries. Why? Because here only I modified D, but E is also modified because there is not two dictionaries, there is one single dictionary. So assigning a dictionary to a new variable does not create a new dictionary. If I just have here d.copy, now I've created a copy of the dictionary D, but it is a different dictionary now. There are two dictionaries. I modified D, and I will see that E is unmodified. Here, as we see, D has 334, E has 234. Okay. So if I want to create a copy, then I use the copy method. Update. Assume that I have another dictionary. Let's use now. Let's create another dictionary here. I have this dictionary D. What I'll be doing. Let's remove all of this. Let's take this one here. Okay. Now, after doing this, I will print D. What I will be doing, I will just create another dictionary. E is equal to, let's say, some keys that doesn't exist here. Let's say 8 doesn't exist in the above one, 88, and one more, 10 doesn't exist in the above one. But let's say 7 exists as the first key. But now I will have 777. And let's put one or two more. 99 doesn't exist in the previous one. And let's say 2 exists in the previous one. And this time we will have something like this. So I have another dictionary. And I want to merge these two dictionaries into D. Okay. So what we will do, D is equal to, we will then use the new method, which is the update. We will update the dictionary D with another dictionary, which we will say D dot update with E. Then what will happen? Let's print D, and we will see the result, and I will explain on the output. Now this was our D dictionary, and the second one is E dictionary. Let's copy this here so that we will see them separately. 888 is added. Okay, this was up to 10. The last element of the original dictionary D had key 10 and value 487. Here we have 10. It's modified, but don't care about that. This 8 and 88 didn't exist here, or the key 8 didn't exist here. There is no element in the original dictionary which has key 8. So this is added here. 10 and one and some value, 10 existed here. So what happens? This value 487 is replaced with this value. Okay. So the elements of D are updated. If the key of this parameter dictionary doesn't exist, it creates this key and value pair. 8 and 88 is added. If the key exists, 10 exists, what happens? It updates the value. 847 is modified or updated by this. 7777, this is modified. 234 is modified by 777. 99 doesn't exist in the original dictionary. So 99 and 199, this key value pair is added. 2 exists as a key. Here we have 2. So this 4444 is updated by 2222, as we see it here. This is how merging of two dictionaries happens, or updating a dictionary with the elements of another dictionary happens. If this in the second dictionary, the key doesn't exist in the first dictionary, the same key value pair in the second dictionary is added to the first one. If the keys are same, then the value of the second dictionary replaces the value of that element in the first dictionary. as we see here. I will continue with this, and I will come to this one at the end, because this is more complex. If you want to use a dictionary, something similar to a stack data structure, then you can use pop item. It returns a tuple which contains the key and value of the last element. Okay, when we use pop item, the last element is removed. Let's just use here, let's say TT is equal to D dot pop item. And let's print both D and print TT to see what they are. And of course, before printing, let's print this again. Now, when we print D again, we see that the last element doesn't exist anymore. Okay, 99 and 199 is deleted. The pop item deletes this last element, but also the pop item creates a tuple which contains the key and the value of the last item. This is TT. Okay, let's even write here TT equal something like that. We will see that TT is this one. So pop item works like this. With pop item, if we just use pop and as a parameter a key, it removes that element. Okay, it doesn't remove the last element in this case. It removes the element with the given key. If you want to remove an element, you just use this one as well. You can use either pop and the key, or you can just use indexing by key and the del keyword. The del deletes the dictionary element which has the given key in the indexing. Clear will remove all the elements. Now let's go back to this get method for the dictionaries. Let's take this and let's go here. Now what we are doing here, we are when we use get, we have two parameters. The dictionary is D. Okay. This single line is identical to this 4 lines. First, it checks if the dictionary D contains this first parameter. The first parameter is a key value that contains a key. If this key exists in the dictionary, this get method gives us the value of that element. Okay? If K is in dictionary, by the way, when we use if some variable in dictionary name, it checks if this thing exists as a key in the dictionary. It just checks if that key exists in the dictionary. So if K exists as a key in the dictionary, then the value of this A or this expression is equal to the value of that element. If K doesn't exist in D, then we get X. It may be confusing at the beginning. Instead of X, let's put here, for example, 1, 1. And for K, let's use K is equal to, let's get any key, let's say 2. Now, the key 2, the element which has the key 2 has the value 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so let's print A here. And let's comment this part out. When I run this, I'll get this. But if I have, for example, 21 doesn't exist as a key. So K doesn't exist in D, so I'll get 11. Okay. So it is not too complex indeed. If this key exists, then it gets its value from the dictionary. If the first parameter doesn't exist in the dictionary, then it gives us back the second parameter. This is useful in simplifying some of the programs that uses dictionaries. One of those programs is, okay, here I explained the in operator anyway. One of them is then when you use dictionaries as counters. I will jump here, explain this, and go back. Assume that we have something like this. Here I have a list which contains the votes. Assume that in the class we want to choose a student candidate, student representative, and 4 students just were candidates: Kemal, Rockwell, Ali, and Jane are candidates, and all students voted for either Kemal or Rockwell or Ali or Jane. And these are the votes. The first student voted for Kemal, the second for Rockwell, the third student for Ali, the next student for Rockwell, the next student for Rockwell, the next student for Jane, etc. These are the votes of the students. What I need to count how many times Kemal exists, how many times Rockwell exists, how many times Ali exists, and how many times Jane exists. And for that, I will create a dictionary, and the dictionary keys will be the unique elements of the votes. Okay, Kemal will be one key, Rockwell will be another key, Ali will be another key, and Jane will be another key. And the values in the dictionary will be how many times Kemal exists in this one. So what I do, counts, I create a dictionary. Okay, I create an empty dictionary. So I have here a for loop which travels among the elements of this list. Votes is a list. For name in votes, if name in counts. Counts is a dictionary. If the name at the beginning, Kemal. What the meaning of this if statement? If the name, which is Kemal, exists as a key in counts. Okay. Does Kemal exist in a key in counts? No. So what will happen? This will be false. It will go to the else part. And what will happen? Kemal doesn't exist as a key in the dictionary. So counts Kemal and 1. So the dictionary will contain just, the dictionary will be something like this. So Kemal and 1 will be created. And 1. We have now this element in our dictionary. Next, it will take Rockwell. The next time in this for loop, the second value of name will be Rockwell. The second element is Rockwell in the counts dictionary as a key. No. So what will happen? It will just put also here. Now we have 2 values, two elements. Then Ali, same thing will happen for Ali. 1. Next time we will get Rockwell. Now, Rockwell exists in the counts now because Rockwell exists here. So what will happen? What we are doing, counts Rockwell plus equal 1. Increment this by 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. Next time, the next element will be this Rockwell, the 5th element in the list. Again here, The name is Rockwell. Rockwell in count exists as in counts as a key. So this if part will be executed. Its value will be increased by 1. 2 will become 3. And then we will come to this chain. Does chain exist in the counts? The if name in counts will be false, so we'll jump to the else part. Counts chain equal 1 will be added. It will be executed. Since chain doesn't exist, it will create a new element. Chain and 1 will be added. Then next, another chain. Now this time, in count, if name in counts will be true, chain exists as a key in the counts dictionary. Therefore, its value is increased by 1. Don't forget that when we use a key as index, dictionary index, then we use the value. Plus equal means add 1, plus equal 1 means that add 1 to it. So Kemal will Kemal's value, this the value of this key value pair, this element, which at 1 is increased by 1, it will be 2, etc. So every time it finds the name in counts, it increases. We have here plus equal 1. If the name doesn't exist, it is the first time it is it's taken from the it doesn't exist in the dictionary, so it is the first time it happens. So we have equal to 1. We create an element and then set its value to 1. We can just replace these 4 statements with only one statement, which is the get. So instead of writing it like this, let's just copy this part. Of course, since the last statement was indented, it just indents once more. And let's print here our 20 times equal to separate from the previous one. Let's run this now. We'll see that these are Kemal 4, Rockwell 5, Ali 2, Jane 4. These are, or this is the dictionary which is created here. Now we have, instead of counts, I have CNT. I have exactly the same loop for name in votes on line 18. And I have replaced all those 4 lines with only 1 line. Now let's examine this. We take name, CNT name equal the dictionary name dot get and that name again. Now the first time we will get Kemal. CNT doesn't contain any element. So what will happen? Kemal doesn't exist. So CNT get Kemal will not get the value because there is no element, there is no key in the dictionary which has Kemal as key. So what it will give us? The get method will give us 0 plus 1, 1. But name is Kemal. So since Kemal doesn't exist in the dictionary, it will be created. 0 will come from here, plus 1. So the value will be 1. Kemal and 1 will be added to the dictionary. Next time, Rockwell doesn't exist. Rockwell doesn't exist here. So get will give us 0 plus 1, 1. Rockwell doesn't exist, therefore it creates a new element. Rockwell and 1 is created. Same for Ali. Now, this element, the 4th element in the votes list. Here now, in the Rockwell exists. We have Rockwell and 1 in the dictionary already. So CNT get Rockwell will not get the second parameter, but the value of that element, which is 1. Rockwell existed. The first time we have found Rockwell, we set an element in the dictionary by using this statement, and Rockwell and 1 was stored there. Now, therefore, now this time CNT gets name 0 will give me 1 because name which is Rockwell exists in the dictionary and its value is 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So Rockwell exists. So the element is the value of that element for Rockwell is replaced with 2, because from here we get 1, the previous element, the previous value of Rockwell, plus 1, 2, it is incremented by 1. Okay. So this way, when we run this, we see that Kemal 4, Rockwell 5, Ali 2, and Jane 4, we get exactly the same answer. Okay. Let's just remove for this for the time being. This one, I will just. This was printing on the separate lines. That's better. If I run this, I will see them together. So sometimes it makes programming easier, but you have to understand how it works. If this thing exists as a key, you get its value. Otherwise, you get the second parameter. Let's go back. What else can you say about method, the dictionaries? Okay, dictionary comprehension. We have seen that we can use comprehension for lists, and we can also use comprehension for dictionaries as well. Let's use a comprehension for lists. A is equal to, let's say, n multiplied by n for n in range. Let's remember, that's it, 10, 11 to 21, which will generate values from 11 to 20. So n will be values from 11 to 20, but we are putting in the list the square of n multiplied by n, this expression. Let's print n. Let's print a, sorry. We have this dictionary, the squares of integer numbers from 10 to 20. Now I want to create a dictionary which will contain, for example, as keys 10 to 20, but as values their squares. So let's say dd is equal to, now of course the dictionaries are written between curly braces. I have my n as key and n multiplied by n my value. So here we were just using an expression to compute the values of the list. Now I have two things, the key followed by colon, because in a dictionary the keys are followed by colon and then by value. Here I have my key and value pair separated with this, and then I will have something very similar to this one. Print dd, and let's see what we'll get. 11 is the key, 121 is its value, 12 is the next key, and 144 is the value. So we can use the same idea, but this time, of course, since dictionaries are written between curly braces, the first difference is that it has to start open curly brace and stop with closed curly brace. And here, before the for loop, I have to have both a key and a value expression. Assume that I want to have, for example, n minus 10. So instead of 11, I will have 1. 1, but square of 11. 2, square of 12. 3, square of 13, etc. Like here. Okay. So you can have here an expression for the key as well if it is necessary. So let's continue with, okay, let's create a dictionary which will get the keys from 11 to 12, again, 20, but as value, the square root of them. So power 0.5 will be the squares, but I don't want to get too many digits. The square root of 11 is 3.31, blah, 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 blah. I only want to get only 3 digits. How can I do this? I have to round this to 3 decimals. So what I will be doing, round parentheses this to 3 decimals. If I run this, now I get something much more readable. 11 square root of 11 up to 3 decimals, 12 square root of 12, 16 square root of 16 is 4. But since the decimals are all 0, we will only get 4.0, of course, etc., etc. So here you can use function calls if necessary, and you can have again here instead of 11, 12, 13. If I want keys to be 1, 2, 3, but the square roots will be of 11, 12, 13. Again, I can have here minus 10. Something like this. Any question about dictionary comprehension or dictionary methods? Do you have any question about those? Okay, let's continue then. I finished the dictionaries, but I will just do some more examples. I will solve some examples. Let me go here, CS1, and probably I have some dictionary exercises. Okay. I'm looking for some nice exercise. Let's start with some simple ones. Write Python statements that creates a dictionary containing as keys 2-digit positive integer numbers. What are 2-digit positive integer numbers? 10, 11, 12, up to 99. Okay. So our keys will be starting from 10 up to 99, and the values will be squares of the corresponding keys. There are 2 ways of doing this. One is just by using a loop, a for loop. The second one is by, as we have seen just a few minutes ago, by comprehension. If the question says do not use comprehension, sometimes I can put this type of things in my questions. Don't use comprehension, then you cannot use comprehension. You have to use a for loop. So let's see how we are doing. Create an empty dictionary. For all values from 10 to 99, what we do, those values 10 to 99 are put into the variable k. So the key is here. The DC is my dictionary. DC with 10, 11, 12, 13, etc. is here. And what's the value? It's square. Okay. So this is one way of creating those things. Let me keep this. So if the question says don't use dictionary comprehension, you can use it like this. Let's solve it with a comprehension statement. So what we will be doing, we will have something similar to this one. Let's put it here. But here we will have, let's say, k and k multiplied by k, and just take this and put inside here. So these two will be identical. This will create a dictionary which will contain as keys 2-digit positive integer numbers, and as values the squares of the keys. And we did the same thing here. Key and the square of the key as value for all keys from 10 to 99. Now, I forgot one thing. In the comprehension, we can also have if statement, okay? In the comprehension, we can also have an if statement, and only if statement, only if the if statement, the condition in the if statement is correct, then this key and value will be added to the dictionary. Example. Here I have these from 11 to 20, but I only want to get, for example, the keys and for the n values. I only want to get this key value pairs for n values, which are, let's say, divisible by 3. So what I can do, if n modulus 3 equals 0, I can do this. Now, 11 is not divisible. 12 is divisible by 3. So for 12, 12 minus 10, 2, and blah, blah, we will get this. 13, 14 are not divisible. 15 is divisible. So we will get 5 and this, etc. So if we just run this, we will get this. Okay. 2, because it is 12 minus 10. So originally the n value here is divisible by 3. 5, because it is n minus 5, so the n value was 15, which was divisible by 3. It would probably be easier to have this here. So for only the values for the keys which are divisible by 3, we have this. So we can have an if statement here. How it works, this is at the top. Let's take this, put it here. Then take this if statement, put it here. And then let's say instead of D, let's say EE is equal to an empty dictionary. And here EE key and value. What is the key? N. What is the value? Round blah blah. Okay. And let's go here and print E. We can do it something like this, and we will get exactly the same result. So in a comprehension, we can also use if statement. In that case, this creation will only occur, the creation of this dictionary elements will only occur if this condition is true. Okay. The if condition is true, then those elements will be created into the, or they will be added to the dictionary. We were just looking to some interesting examples. This is about voting. We have done this. What I will be doing, I have a question came to my mind, slightly more complicated question. What we will do, we will create a dictionary which will contain the first 10 prime numbers. But the keys will be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. And for key 1, we will have the first prime number, which is 2. For key 2, the first prime number, which is 3, then prime number 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, etc. So first of all, let's write a isPrime method, which will get a value n, an integer number n. And what I will be doing, how can you check if a number is prime or not? We just, for every k in range, I will just not go into too much mathematical concepts, but more simple ones. Starting from 2 up to n modulus divided by 2 plus 1 up to half of the number. We will go up to half of the number. And if the n is divisible by k, it's 0, then it's not a prime number. This function will return false if the given number is not a prime number. But if the for loop was finished and no number starting from 2 up to the half of the number itself doesn't divide n, then n is a prime number. So we will write return true. Let's check this for some numbers. For x in range, let's say from 2 to 100. Let's see what are the prime numbers from 1 to 2. This if is prime x. We don't need parentheses. We are not doing Java. And if is prime x, then print x. Let's see what we will get. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, blah, blah, blah. We get all the prime numbers here. But our task is just create a dictionary for the first 10 prime numbers. Okay. And the keys will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And the values will be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, etc. How can we achieve this? We can use either a for loop or a while loop. What I will be doing, I will be using a for loop. Now, here I will have key equal 1 at the beginning. Okay. So when I find a prime number, what I'll be doing, I will just say on prime numbers, primes, a dictionary. We need to create a dictionary, an empty dictionary at the beginning. And when we find a prime number, what we will be doing, we will add an element to primes. So what we will have here, primes. What is the key? Key, which is 1 at the beginning. And what is the value? X, which is a prime number, okay? X is a prime number. But after doing this, I need to increment key by 1. It was 1 at the beginning. I put primes 1, which is equal to 2 for the first prime number, and then key is 1. And then if key greater than 10, break. Finish the stuff. We finish the for loop. As we know, the break quits the previous for loop. Here I have ifs, but it doesn't matter. And then let's go here and let's say print primes, and let's see what we will get. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, blah, blah. Okay, we have this. And asterisk primes, we will get something like this. Only the keys are printed, so it doesn't help us. Let's keep it like this. Or we can write a method to print a dictionary, def print dict, which will get a dictionary. And for all k, b in d.items, print the key, colon, v on separate lines. And instead of print primes, let's print dict primes, which will have a nicer output. Okay. So we have the keys from 1 to 10. The values are the first 10 prime numbers. Any question about this question, this exercise? Is this understood? After adding an element, I increment the key, of course. And if key became greater than 10, I don't need to continue anymore. So we break the loop. Okay. Is this understood? you are third year students or fourth year students. There are 1 or 2, no, 3 or 4 people who are second year students. Probably you shouldn't get too many difficulty in understanding this algorithm. Let's continue with more exercises. Okay, this one. Write Python statements that creates a dictionary containing as keys positive integer numbers starting from 1 and as values the uppercase letters of English alphabet. So we want to get a dictionary like this. Okay. So here is the solution. We create an empty dictionary. We have ups blah blah this, okay, we have a string which contains all uppercase letters of the English alphabet. And as we know, if we build a for loop with a string, here ups is a string, this for loop will get individual characters in the string. So the first character, the second character, the third character, the last character, etc. will be taken one by one, put into the C, into this variable, for loop variable, and repeat the loop. So what I do here, I build this one. But I need keys as well, 1, 2, 3. So I start with key equal 1 at the beginning. Here we get individual characters of this ups string. Right. Uppercase A, uppercase B, C, etc. will be taken one by one. These are the value parts. And what are the keys? We use this key variable. Key is equal to 1. At the beginning, DC1 and the C, the character C is uppercase A. We create this one. Of course, for the next time, we will get B, C, D. Therefore, I need to increment the key. After assigning a character with key 1 putting into the dictionary DC, I have to increment the key value, key variable. So with this, we will get that. And when we will print something like this. Let's copy this lines and run in the program. Here it is. Okay. Write Python function list this blah blah parameters. Okay. Now we want to create a dictionary using values of a list, so that the elements of the list will be the keys 8, 4, 7 will be the keys 8, 4, 7, but the values in the dictionary will be the squares of the keys. However, a list may contain duplicate values. Here I have 4 and 4, twice 4, for example, in this example. But keys are unique in dictionaries. I might forget to emphasize this. All keys in a dictionary must be unique. You cannot have 2 elements with the same key. Keys are unique in a dictionary. That's why when we use this, if the key exists, it updates the value. It doesn't create a new element. If the key exists, the keys has to be unique. Therefore, the value is updated. If the key doesn't exist, then it will create a new element. But if the key exists, since the keys are unique, it updates the value. So here I want to create a dictionary. I want to write a Python function that gets as parameter a list and returns a dictionary, where the keys of the dictionary are the elements of the list, but the values are the squares of those. So let's look here. List square is my function name, which gets a list, let's say ls. We create an empty dictionary for all values in ls, for v in ls, take every element of ls one by one, create a dictionary element where the key is the value taken from the list and the value in the dictionary is the square of that number. Okay. And we have at the beginning, at the end, of course, we return this dictionary created. So when we give this, we will get this. Let's do that. Let's copy this lines from here. Here it is. 824347. There are 4 twice, but in the dictionary we have only one element, which has key is equal to 4. Let's continue with some more examples. Even key, some values that gets the dictionary as parameter condition. Okay. We have a dictionary which has integer keys only, and our function will get a dictionary that gets a dictionary as parameter, and this dictionary contains integer keys, and the values are numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 are the, for example, in this example, or 36, 47, 58, 69, etc. We have just integer keys, and the values are either integer or float, but they are all numbers. But this function will return the sum of the values of the element that has even keys. So even key sum values is our function name, which gets a dictionary. It will find the sum of some numbers, some values. So we assign 0 to some variable. Let's call it total. And at the end, we return total. Let's put it here. What we do, we use this type of for loop for this parameter dictionary. DC is our parameter dictionary. We get all keys and values from this dictionary. If the key is even, we check it this by using if k modulus 2 equals 0, then the key taken from the dictionary is even. Then we add the value of that element to total, and we return it then to the total. So we have 1, 12, 2, blah, blah, 3, and here 2 is even, 4.8, 4 is even, plus 6.4, 4.8 plus 6.4 will be 11.2. We will get 11.2. Okay. These are just some examples which shows how to use dictionaries. I hope you are comfortable with those exercises. By the way, do you want me to put these exercises file to this site? If you wish, I can put it here inside resources, dictionary exercises, or something like that. Here we have a Python question. Okay, we have already a Python questions and exercises document, but this doesn't contain too many questions about each subject. It is just a summary of those. Okay, I will put the dictionary exercises as well here. I have list exercises, dictionary exercises. I will put both of them. Okay, these are just text files, so you can just click and see on your screen. For example, here we have a text file. I think this one was a text file. Yeah, this has, for example, some questions, but it doesn't contain too many questions about dictionaries. Here there are some dictionary exercises, but there are a few of them. So I will put this one as well to this site. By the way, I hope you are visiting this site at least once before the course. Here I put weekly plan for next week. I'm not sure if I will be teaching online or I'll be teaching in class, because there is a possibility that I can come to Ankara, and if it will be the case, then I will announce it that I will be doing the lecture in class. And I will send an email to you about that anyway. And when we do in-class lectures, the start time is 2:10. When we do online, the start time is 3 o'clock. Let's continue with more exercises. Okay, although I was looking to some other things, and a question came to my mind. The question is something like this. We have two dictionaries. Let's take A and B. This is A, and let's create another dictionary. B is equal to, let's say, 7 is the key. Anything, doesn't matter, the values. Let's say 4 is the key, for example, and some other value. Let's put one or two more. 6 doesn't exist in the previous one, whatever it is. And let's put one more which exists in the previous one, which is 1, for example, and let's say 10. I don't know how this comes from my keyboard. Okay. Now we will write a method mult2dict, let's say, which will get two dictionaries, dictionary 1 and dictionary 2, as parameters. What it will do now, let's say return here, so that it will just, let's put one or two more in one of these, 5 and 25. Okay, there are 5 elements in the first one, 4 elements in the second. Print A, print B. What we will be doing, this will create a new dictionary. C is equal to mult2dict, dictionary A and B. However, what will happen? It will just find the keys which are common to both. 2 is here, 2 doesn't exist. Sorry, 1 is here and 1 is here. So 1 is common to both, and 4 exists as key in the first one and 4 exists in the second one. So 4 is common. What will happen? It will generate a new dictionary. Let's call it D3. A new dictionary will be created, and that dictionary will be returned. And this new dictionary will contain the keys of the common keys only. 1 is common, 4 is common, but the values will be the multiplication of them. 12 multiplied by 10, 120. 6.4 multiplied by 787, whatever it is. Okay, so it will contain the common elements of both, but the value will be the multiplication of the values of these common elements. Is this understood? It will only contain common keys, and the values will be the multiplication of the values of these common keys. Let's do it. For K, V in D1. Let's get all keys and values from D1. Okay. How do we check if K exists in D2? If K in D2 means that this K, the key taken from D1, exists also in D2. So what we will do, create a D3 element with this key, and here multiplication of the value from D1 and multiplication of and the value of from D2. Here we already got the value from D1, which is V. V is the value coming from dictionary 1, but where is the value coming from dictionary 2? Quite simply, D2 indexing by key. With this key in D2, D2 indexing key will give me the value from D2. Okay, here I have already the value from D1, but what I can do, I can remove this here what I can do, D1K. D1K is the value from D1 dictionary. D2K is the value from D2 dictionary. I can do it like this, or I can put here D1.items. If I do D1.items, then I will use K and V. So this V is the value from D1. In that case, I can put here V. Okay. So there are at least two possible solutions, but let's remove the items here. Take all keys from D1. If this key taken from D1 exists in D2, so in D3, create an element where the value is the multiplication of the value from D1 by the value from D2. And print C, let's see what will happen. So we will get only 1 from the first one, 12 multiplied by 10, 120. Here we have 4, which is 6.4 multiplied by this, 6 times 8, blah, blah. So this is the result, okay? Is this understood? Is this question understood? The question will be something like that. Let me put it here. Write a function, blah, blah. There are many things. Write a Python function. What was the name of our function? Multi2dict, let's say. That gets 2 dictionaries as parameters and returns a dictionary where the keys are common keys of both dictionaries and values are the multiplication of values of elements of these common keys belonging to this common keys, something like that. And we can make the sentence more understandable. But what I will be doing, I will just copy this and put it here. By the way, what you can do, maybe surprise to you, but you can copy the whole file, this exercises file. You can paste in Python and you can run it. Oh, let's make this. There is one exception here, because all questions are put into comments, okay? Since all questions are inside comments, this whole exercises document can be run as a Python program, as we have done it here. So I will do the same thing here. So where is the blah, blah, blah type? Let's put here triple things to make those lines comment lines. Now they can be copied and run in a Python IDE. Let me look for one or two more exercises here. Merge dict. So here there is a question about merge dict. As I said while explaining the update, when you update a dictionary with another dictionary, the values of the common keys from the second dictionary replaces the values of these elements in the first dictionary. But here, this question is doing something reverse. it merges two dictionaries, but the original values from the first dictionary will remain. It will not be updated the values from the second dictionary, but they will remain. So if there are common keys, the values from the second dictionary will be thrown away. The value from the first dictionary will remain. So try to solve this question, which is on line 207 by yourself, or shall I do it, or by explaining it? I have put here two different solutions. Or let me show the two solutions. The first solution. Do you remember? Did you understood the question? We have two dictionaries. We will merge these two dictionaries, but contrary to the update function, which updates the values of the first dictionary with the values of the second dictionary if key is common. We don't want to update if key is common. We want to keep the original value if the key is common and throw the value coming from the second dictionary. But add the non-common keys. The elements with non-common keys will be added to the first dictionary. So it will not do this one. It will do something else. So merge that gets two dictionaries as parameters and returns a dictionary which is created by merging these two dictionaries with elements of the first dictionary before the elements of the second. At the beginning, we will have the first dictionary elements, then the second dictionary elements. If same key exists in both, take value from first dictionary, not from the second one. So update dictionary method cannot be used. The first way, we get D1 and D2. We create a copy of D1. What we will be doing, we will get the keys and values from D2. We already copied D1 into our result, which is D. We will get values, key and value pairs from D2. If K is not in D, if the key taken from the second dictionary is not in D, so into D, we add that element. D with this K coming from D2 and the value coming from D2. If K is inside D, then K not in D will be false. For common keys, it will be false because the expression is not in D. If K doesn't exist in the original one, in D1, then it will add. If K exists, not in D will be false. It will not change the element in D. So after this, we will get our result. Another way of solving it. Start with empty dictionary. Put all the elements of D1 into this. So these 3 lines is doing the same thing with this one, okay? So a student might not remember at the beginning copy method and can create a copy using a loop, okay? Here we have a loop. If I just say D equal D1, it will not create a new copy. It will just be a different name. So we cannot write here D equal D1 without this part. This alone will not create a copy. I need a copy. So that's why we can either do it either with copy, or the same thing can be done in 3 lines like that. Create an empty dictionary and then append to this empty dictionary new key value pairs with this expression, with this assignment statement. List to dict. That gets 2 lists of same length. So we give 2 lists to this function. What will happen? It will return a dictionary. The keys will be from first list and values will be from second list. That's why the lists have to be of the same length, okay? It will take one element from the first list, which will be key, and the same corresponding element from the second list, which will be value, put together these 2 and continue. So how do we do this? We have L1 and L2, two lists. Create an empty dictionary. Now I need the indexes because I have to take the same indexed element from both list 1 and list 2, L1 and L2. So I have to use a loop to get the indexes. Since len1, L1 and L2 have equal lengths, I can use one of them for j in range len1. Assume that the list contains 10 elements. So len L1 will be 10. So range 10 will generate values from 0 to 9, which will be valid indexes of that list. So what is the key? L1J. J will be 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Take one element from the first list, put as key, D, and the key, indexing by key, and equal the value, which is taken from L2. Okay. We have the same indexes. L1J, the first element from L1, the first element from L2, the second element from L1 as key, second element from L2 as value, etc. Is this question understood? The more you solve questions, the more you will be ready for the midterm, because in midterm there will be questions similar to these ones. Maybe I may even ask exactly the same question because I will be publishing this to you, and there are anyway that lots of questions. It becomes more and more difficult to come up with new questions. So hopefully I'll come up with new questions, but if you just solve several of these, it will help tremendously. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is what we have done last anyway. Any questions? I will stop here. Do you have any questions? If you have no questions, then I will put this dictionary document, dictionary exercises document to the page that I have given to you. I will send an email to remind you about the page once more again, and I will see you next week then. If you don't have any questions, I will stop my lecture. Any questions?